Yokoso, my manga society. So it's come to my attention that a lot of manga collectors tend to stack up their TBR or to be read to such an extent where their backlog is like completely stacked up. And I'm not innocent of that. I'm definitely guilty of doing this. But recently I've been on a huge manga kick in a manga mood. And so I think it would be interesting to go through my collection and to see actually like what percentage of my manga collection that I've actually read. So not only are we going to be counting how many volumes I have today, but we're also going to be seeing what percentage of those volumes I have actually read. And throughout this video, I will be throwing in tips on how you can stay up to date with your manga collection and not let it stack up. Obviously, if you want to let it stack up, then you can. But here are some tips that help me get through some of my stacks of manga that have not been read yet. So we're gonna go shelf by shelf. This top, it's not necessarily a shelf, but the top of these bookshelves I put my box sets up here. And so we can see here that Death Note, the first one we'll take a look at, has 12 volumes, 13 if you include this How to Read 13th volume. So I will actually include that in here, and I'm guilty of not reading that yet. So I have read 1 through 12, but not this 13th. Now let's take a look at this Dungeon Meshi box set. So as you can see, Dungeon Meshi has 14 volumes, and I have actually only read 2 of these. I read the first 2, I actually have the first 2, and that was before the box set was even announced. So I only read the first 2 and have not read anything past that. Next up is my Bakuman box set. And boy, do I love this box set. So these manga I have actually read. So I haven't read the physical copies, but I read these like way back before I even knew there was a box set. I read this completely online, but I haven't read any of the physical copies. But I have read volumes 1 through 20 technically. All right, so now that we're done with the box sets, we're gonna take it shelf by shelf. So this very first shelf that we have here, I've read all of these Pokemon volumes, all of these JoJos, both of these Kaijis, and I believe there's 6 medalists here. So I've read everything on this bookshelf. Coming down here, we see the Death Note short stories, my Dorohedoro collection, 4 Chojin X volumes, 2 Rooster Fighters, 4 Die Darks, this actually came in a box set, and then 8 Boxers, the Boxer. So this shelf I have actually read as well, the entirety of it. So tip number 1, keeping a volume or 2 in your backpack at all times, just having it there at the ready. Sometimes you have nothing to do or you're waiting for something, you can just pull it out. Coming down to this next shelf, I do need to rearrange my bookshelves. Look out for a complete bookshelf makeover video that will be coming soon. First, we have these first 3 Plutos, 2 Monsters, the whole 20th Century Boys collection, all of the Horizon, also written by the person that wrote the Boxer, and all of Poon Poon. So I have read every single one of these. Coming down to the next shelf, we have Chainsaw Man, all of part 1. I actually have not picked up any of part 2. We have Fire Punch, Goodbye Eri, 3 Golden Kamuy, all of what's out of Blue Lock right now. I think the 17th volume actually may have came out, but I still need to get it. And then the orange box set. So I have read all of these. I'm proud to say I've read all these. Tip number 2, set like 30 minutes or an hour before you go to sleep to take some time, read a volume of manga. I've heard reading also helps you get in the mood to go to sleep. So if you struggle with going to sleep, then just read one of your volumes. Coming down here, Hell's Paradise. That's the only thing I have over here. Just to the right are just a bunch of random books. But I have actually read all of these. I've had this collection for a while now, and I have read all of them. So, my Demon Slayer box set. The entirety of Demon Slayer 1 through 23. I have read all this. It was good. A little disappointed in it, but overall it was good nonetheless. I am still glad I have the box set. Tip number 3. So if you go to lunch at work or even at school, having a volume there, if you don't have any people to like socialize with, you can just take out your volume during lunch, eat your lunch, and then read a little bit, and that could help a lot. All right, back to the top. So that was this entire bookshelf here. Next, we're gonna look at this bookshelf. So this is kind of like my Shoujo shelf, plus this concierge at Hokyoku department store. So we have all of Wotakoi. We have some of Love Me, Love Me Not, Aoharu Ride, most of My Love Story, and the Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity. I still only get the 5th one, but I have read those, and 1 through 5 of Kaguya-sama. So again, I have actually read the entirety of this bookshelf. Coming down here, so we have The Darwin Incident, one blue box, Showa Shoten, only 4 My Heroes, I do plan on getting more. Hunter x Hunter, I do plan on getting more. Here are the 2 Dungeon Meshies that I was talking about earlier, just 2 stray volumes, and then 1 through 11 of Noragami. So again, I have read all of these. Tip number 4, so having people to discuss your manga with or a series with greatly helps with being able to finish a series, because you just want to discuss it with some of the people that you're around, or even just going online and finding a group of people to discuss it with could help greatly. Coming down to this next section, we have 0 through 22 of Jujutsu Kaisen, 1 through 4 of Kaiju number 8, Bleach number 1, Burn the Witch 1, Sakamoto Days, and Gantz. So I actually have not read Gantz. 1 through 3 of Trillion Game. So I've read everything on here except for Gantz. So here's one of my stacks of books. So again, I need to do a big reorganization of my bookshelves. Again, I'm gonna get some risers and do a reorganization video soon, so stay tuned for that. Don't forget to subscribe. But this is just kind of like a random, I'll get to the books in the back in a second, but we have Witch Hat, 20th Century Boys, or 21st Century Boys. That should be up there, but Fighting for Tomorrow, Ashana Joe, a bunch of random ones. We have Leviathan, Orb, Soul Eater, a bunch of Junji Ito, and I actually have read all of these. Tip number 5, so tracking which manga you read on an app like My Anime List or whatever book tracker you like to use could definitely help. Logging those volumes in the tracker definitely gets you that dopamine hit, at least for me. It feels really good, and yeah, it could help some of you as well. So we can now take a look at the books behind. So we have Attack on Titan 1 through 18, Blue Exorcist 1 through 14, and then 26. So I have not read one of these volumes, and it's actually Blue Exorcist number 26. The rest I have actually read. 26 was kind of like a stray book. I found it like a half price, so I like had to pick it up. But other than that, yeah, I've read every single one of these as well. Tip number 6. So having a big backlog of manga to read, set a goal for yourself, like finish or catch up to this series. And then as a reward, go out and buy some more manga if that's what you're feeling. Setting that as a reward can help you get through like an entire series or catch up to one. So here are 2 volumes. I'll count these as 2, just, I know they're omnibuses, but so here we have Orb 5 and 6, 7 and 8. So I'm actually currently in the middle of volume 5, the first half of this, so I'm not gonna count it as read or anything, but these I actually have not read. So here's a interesting and mysterious stack of volumes. These I'm actually going to do a manga haul video for towards maybe the middle or end of this month, so stay tuned for that. Don't forget to check that video out as well. But out of this stack of books, I have not read 8 of them. So 8 of these volumes I have not read. These bottom 7, or no, these bottom 1, 2, 3, these bottom 5, and then these top 3 as well. So currently working on these. I have read everything in the middle. So next up, we got the downstairs bookshelf. We'll start out with these box sets. So we got Tokyo Ghoul and the sequel, Tokyo Ghoul Re. So we got 1 through 14 of Tokyo Ghoul, 1 through 16 of Tokyo Ghoul Re. And I have read all of these. I would suggest reading Tokyo Ghoul if you haven't. One of my favorite mangas, Tokyo Ghoul Re, is optional. Final tip. So this tip, I know some people like to read one series at a time, but some people kind of need multiple series. And these series can vary from genre, because sometimes you're in the mood for one type of series, but not for the other. Like have a shoujo or a shonen going at the same time, or a seinen and a shoujo or something. That could definitely help. Sometimes you're not in the mood for one genre, but having that other series going on can help you get through some more of your collection. Down on the next bookshelf, we got Vagabond. Okay, for these, I'm actually gonna count these individually. So this is 1 through 37, and the only reason I'm gonna do that is because I have the 37th volume here. That's the only like odd one out. So I'm gonna count these omnibuses as individuals. So 1 through 37, I have read all of these. And next to it, Masterpiece Ping Pong, 1 and 2. Have read these, highly recommend, extremely underrated. One of the best sports manga of all time. Over here, we got Dr. Stone, 1 through 26, and then the side story with Byakuya. So I've read 1 through 16, but not 17 through 26 or the side story. So I haven't read 11 of these mangas. Over here we got the Tokyo Ghoul illustration book, but this I'm not gonna count, so I'm just gonna slide that over. So we got Berserk 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I have read all of these as well. Absolute masterpiece. Down on the next level, we have the GOAT of manga, Vinland Saga, 1 through 13. And obviously you need his other story, Planetus, also a masterpiece. So read all of these. Then we got Thunder 3, number 2. We got the Deer King, a couple of the Demon Slayers. I have read these as well. And so on this last shelf, we got all the Full Metal Alchemist Full Metal editions, and then 8 volumes of Blue Flag. I have read all of these. So that's it for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed. As you can tell, I have been on my manga pretty well. This did stack up. I had a huge TBR stack, and it actually took me 2 or 3 months to get through. And I actually got through it, and it feels like wonderful. I know a lot of collectors haven't read a lot of their collection, but it feels great. I would highly recommend it. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, comment down below how much of your collection you have read versus have not read, and I will see you guys in the next video. And as always, this world is cruel,
but at least we have manga.